Okay, so we are
We're live.
and
After
we
such a
are
fun game.
off the back of the NYC game against the Revs, and off the back of a special call that we just had with NYCFC Tactics.
And a Hartford game against Red Bull too.
And a Hartford game where we saw Haak score his first professional goal ever.
In very nice fashion.
Yeah, so we're flying high off all those things. Not so much City, but we're going to talk about that a little bit. Just to talk about the NYCFC Tactics stuff. So probably anybody that listens to us, you probably follow him on Twitter already, to be honest. Super good source of information about the club, and he has been for the last 5 or I guess 6 years now, since the club started. So check him out. We're gonna have little clips coming out of the conversation that we had, of the different points that we touched on. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we're gonna post some clips, maybe even sprinkle something in throughout. I mean, we're really not sure what this episode's gonna look like. But we wanted to get on and talk more in depth about the games themselves.
Yeah, well, we touched on them briefly, but it sort of became a conversation more of
The club.
of the club, or of like concept of, positional players, and it didn't really look at the two matchups, so we thought it would be a disservice if we didn't speak about them.
Granted, I mean, there's not much we can really say about the game today that people aren't going to be saying on Twitter that we've probably not said on Twitter already. I mean, it's that boring Ronnie ball with the lack of creation again. What you can really pinpoint that to, I mean, if you're asking Ronnie, you really can't pinpoint it to anything because he apparently doesn't like questions asked of him. But yeah, I mean.
Yeah, the most notable moment of the game for me probably came like an hour before it happened, when the lineup dropped. So we see Scally get his debut with the club for starting anyways. We see Acevedo get his starting debut.
What did you think of Acevedo's performance?
So Acevedo, during it, I'm not sure, I didn't quite see what I ended up seeing the stat line portray. The stat line, I mean, I guess he had like 80% completion. He won like 7 out of 11 duels or something. So, when it comes down to the numbers, he plays well and it looks really good for him. I didn't see too much from him, and that's probably also
a good thing, a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Scally, on the other hand, wasn't crazy about him. It's not to knock Scally, but you're coming in and you're trying to replace the production of Tinnerholm, which...
Did you see why?
Why is that?
So Ronnie came out after the game and said why.
Why Tin didn't play?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, I guess it was he had some bad feeling in his Achilles, and it's turf field over at Foxborough, so he didn't want to risk injury or anything like that, so he threw Scally in.
Yeah, well,
But he was informed Wednesday that he was playing.
Scally was.
Yeah,
okay.
But Tinnerholm was not on the injury report or anything like that.
Okay.
So people, especially the outfield specifically, were like, "Where the hell is this?
Yeah.
What's the point of an injury report if we're not even gonna?" Granted, Ronnie's always kind of been that guy where he tries to play that game of like, "Oh, I'm gonna have this guy in the presser and then not play him at all." So it's that Ronnie like trying to get into the head of
Bruce Arena, I guess.
Yeah, whatever it is, loser.
Yeah, well, also maybe it is a little bit related to, I don't remember if it was pre the DC game or pre-Cincy, but pre-game there was like rumors that Tinnerholm picked up a knock, but then he ended up still playing like the whole game. So maybe it's just a little bit of soreness from whatever that was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so...
But, I mean, in terms of the game, was there anything that stood out to you?
Not really, and we touched on this with NYCFC Tactics, but last episode when you guys watched, you would have known we had our conversation about who replaces Maxi when Maxi's down. The real big takeaway in that conversation is we know for sure that it's not Ring after this game. Because Ronnie attempted to play him as that 10, and it just, we scored no goals. And if our tactics and our attack is built around a 10, clearly Ring in that 10 today was not able to help create any goals.
Yeah, and I mean, Ring had a really good chance to put us ahead.
Yeah.
I think he's going to look back at that and think, I definitely need to finish that. But you can't really look back on this game. I mean, like we were saying, we were talking earlier, we're playing Rocket League. 6 games unbeaten.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I mean, we're not losing games, but even the games that we win, we're not winning convincingly.
Yeah,
in
well, it makes it
the way
easier.
that I think this club should be winning.
Uh-huh.
And so
Apparently the way that Ronnie thinks the club should be winning too. But that's something else that
that's
we
a whole, yeah,
we touched on
We
with
touched on
tactics.
Ronnie, and you know, I'm sure if you were to ask Ronnie what he thinks of the media right now, I'm sure it's not going to be great.
Yeah.
We touched on that with tactics.
Yeah, we touched on a lot with tactics. You guys know us if you listen to the episodes. We talked to him and we planned for 10 minutes. Like 40 minutes later, we're like,
Yeah.
we managed to hold him
Yeah.
way longer than expected. But
I mean, when you get in the room with us and we're just talking, it's
Yeah.
like we go forever. And we try to keep it down to like 15, 20 minutes,
Mhm.
just because that's what we feel is more digestible. But like, it's hard, man.
you guys would be amazed. Like the pre-show conversations were like, absolutely no chance we're over 15. And then like most of the time we're cutting it at 22.
Yeah.
And we're like,
how did we
every
do it?
time.
But yeah, in terms of the NYCFC game, I feel like we're good to transition away
I
from
I will say the thing that I looked at from that was like we took away our 2 most dangerous playmakers. So what would happen to any team where you take away their 2 best players?
that. Yep.
And that's exactly what we saw against the Reps. So
On to the Hartford game. Did you want to talk more in depth on that?
there's not too much to say about it. I mean, it was a 3-1 win, so you know, there's a lot to say in the way that the performance was better. We bounced back from Pitt, like absolutely needed.
Yeah, mentally. Bounce
Yeah.
back.
And Haak got his first professional goal. So
And
all
it looks-
around,
yeah,
that's a win.
Yeah, and we were unlucky not to be there and unhappy not to be there. We wanted to be at the game. We want to be at all the games, but those things sell out really fast, especially with the limited capacity in terms of what they're letting in.
Yep. Actually, so that said, we were lucky enough to actually get tickets to the second upcoming Bethlehem game on Wednesday, and just as supporters, we're kind of lucky because, you know, coming off the back of the game that we just played against Bethlehem, we were able to clinch our spot in the playoffs. You know.
It's nice to clinch the playoffs. It's just important for the team to keep pushing on, not to settle like NYCFC has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's cool to make it to the playoffs, but we definitely need to do more than that. And I think this team is talented enough to do that. So I'm really excited to see what this team can do.
Yeah, I think on Wednesday we'll probably end up seeing a little bit of a rotation lineup. I would assume. Like I would imagine that Haak would play in some of those guys that really play every minute, but some of those guys that are on the edge, or if they've had any type of knocks or anything in the past, it'd probably be smarter to rest them. Just because I mean, there's no point in taking chances for a game that does not matter. That said, though, you know, Haak, he had another great game. He kind of quietly, he didn't really contribute to a goal like last time, but he played well. And then we saw that man up top that we love, Dixon, get his brace too. So, you know, there wasn't really too much to complain about with this one.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot more of the game than I did. So in terms of the actual game itself, you know, I don't have much to say in relation to that. Unfortunately, I was working, but I'll get a better view of the next game. Obviously, that you know, that will be at. But going off of what you were saying with Haak, like that he would play. Normally, if he was here for the whole season, he wouldn't play a minute.
Right.
But considering it's going to be one of his fourth game, you kind of have to play him. You kind of have to get him used to that formation or whatever he's trying to do, so that he's not a fish out of water in the playoffs. So I would say it's smarter to play him than to try to save his legs or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. He's gonna fit right in and be able to play.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, the major takeaway was just that we've made it to the playoffs. So now it's all about making it count in the playoffs. I think it's most likely right now that we're supposed to face Indianapolis. To be honest, I'm not too familiar with
how this thing's set up.
not only the setup, but like teams outside of our immediate group
Right.
in the USL. It's hard to know, keep track of. I don't even know how many teams. And then I saw a story the other day actually that the USL is looking to expand like with 40 more teams over the course of I don't even know how many years. So
As Cam Newton scores a touchdown rushing, just throwing that in there. Keep going.
my team's already done, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, not much to say like we were thinking. So we'll be down at that game on Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try to get there earlier than we did the last time. Last time we were literally like walking into the stadium as kickoff was happening, so we didn't have much time to like roam around and talk to anybody or meet anybody.
Yep.
But yeah, this game we're gonna get there earlier. If you're gonna be at that game, meet us in front of Worcester.
Yeah.
Come chat it up.
I mean, it should be a celebration. Like it's the last
Yeah.
game of the season. We're in the playoffs, so it's sort of a there's no way to go into that game and have it not go away that we don't want it to.
Exactly. And we're just we're looking for fans to talk to, fans of the club, obviously, fans of the club to talk to about the club and learn a little bit more ourselves. So
yeah, and then also with all the NYCFC tactics stuff, just like keep an eye out for some clips coming out. They should be out fairly soon. If you look at our Twitter or his, you'll probably find them over there. So we'll get those out as soon as we can.
Yeah, with those steaming hot takes.
Yeah, all the hottest takes.
So thanks you guys for watching again. I'm not sure if I said this already, but Post 90 Pod on all socials. That's where you'll find our stuff, where you'll find clips. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys up.
See ya.